Aight. Look, I need everybody to stop what they're doing. Put the phone down. Pause the game. Look at me. We need to have a family meeting. Because there is a sickness spreading in these streets. There is a virus in the shonen genre that nobody is talking about. I've been doing this anime thing for a long time, y'all. I can respect the villain. I can respect the loser. I can even respect the side character who knows his role is just to get beat up and deliver water bottles. But there is one specific archetype, one specific breed of character that makes me want to throw my monitor out the window. I'm talking about the potential man. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The character that the author swears is next up. The data books say he's a genius. The narrative is glazing him. The fan base is defending him like they're being paid a pension. Bro, just wait. The awakening is coming. He hasn't locked in yet. Bro, the series is ending. When is the lock-in happening? The credits are rolling. When it's time to stand on business, these dudes don't just lose, they sell. They fumble the bag so hard, it sets the bloodline back 3 generations. They have all the tools, all the talent, and none of the results. So today, we are inaugurating a new society. This ain't the Akatsuki. This ain't the Phantom Troop. This is the round table of frauds. We are pulling up chairs for the most disappointing legends in history. And sitting at the head of the table, the chairman of the board, the CEO of I'll Do It Tomorrow, Megumi Fushiguro. Now, before the Megumi stands come from my neck in the comments, relax. Put the keyboard away, touch grass. I'm not hating just to hate. This hurts me. I wanted Megumi to be him. I really did. I bought the stock at the IPO. Let's look at the resume, okay? On paper, this man is a crypto millionaire. He has the 10 shadows technique. Do you understand how broken that is? The Zenin clan, one of the big 3 families, worships this technique. They treat this technique like it's the second coming. Historically, a 10 shadows user killed a limitless 6 eyes user. That means historically, Megumi has the kit to box with Gojo Satoru. That is the ceiling. The ceiling is God status. Then you got the vibe. Black hair, spiky, emo energy, hands in pockets. He looks like he listens to My Chemical Romance and exercises curses for a hobby. The aura was immaculate. The drip was immaculate. And then the biggest cosign in history, Ryomen Sukuna, the king of curses, the hater of all haters, the man who wakes up and chooses violence every single day. He looks at Yuji, the main character, and calls him boring. He treats Yuji like a walking Uber, but he looks at Megumi and he smiles. He says, "You interest me." Do you know what that means? That is like Michael Jordan walking onto a high school court, pointing at the bench warmer and saying, "Yeah, he's got it." If Sukuna says you're next up, you are legally required to be next up. We all bought the hype. I was invested. I was ready for the generational run. And then the show started. And we realized something terrible.
Hello there.
Here's the problem. It's not the power. It's the mental. Megumi Fushiguro has the mindset of a substitute teacher on a Friday. He does not want to be there. Let's go back to the beginning. The finger bearer arc. Detention center. Megumi runs into a special grade. Scary? Yes. Impossible? Maybe. But this is shonen. This is where you dig deep. This is where you find your dog. And what does Megumi do? He gets hit one time. He gets tapped on the forehead, and his immediate thought process, I kid you not, is, well, I guess I'll die. Bro, why is that plan A? You didn't even try plan B. You didn't even try to run away. You immediately went to the nuclear option. This man treats his life like a disposable camera. Use it once, throw it away. Look at Yuji. Yuji has no technique, no clan, no dad, just a hoodie and some sneakers. Yuji gets his hand cut off, gets punched through 3 buildings, heart ripped out, and Yuji stands up and says, I'm gonna kill you. That is a main character. Megumi gets a paper cut and starts reciting his last will and testament. With this treasure I summon. Stop it! Put the treasure away! Try punching him first! Gojo even called him out on this. Gojo literally pulled him aside and said, hey, you don't know how to try. You think sacrificing yourself and winning are the same thing. That was the author talking to us. Gege was warning us. Hey guys, don't get attached. This kid is broken. But we didn't listen. We saw the potential. We ignored the fraudulence. But then we had a moment. I gotta be fair, because every fraud has one moment where they trick you. The bridge arc, origin of obedience. He's fighting another finger bearer. He's hurt. He's bleeding from the head. And for the first time in his life, Megumi decides to be selfish. He laughs. He goes crazy. Domain expansion, Chimera, Shadow, Garden. I stood up. I was screaming at my monitor. He's here. The potential man has arrived. The shadows are drowning people. He's sinking into the floor. The visuals were insane. I said, okay, Gojo was right. This kid is a demon. The awakening is happening right now. And then we looked closer. It was incomplete. It was unfinished. And after that fight, we never saw that energy again. We thought that was the beginning of his rise. Turns out, that was the peak. That was the highlight reel. He teased us with greatness, showed us what he could do, and then put the Ferrari back in the garage and started driving the Honda Civic again. It's the almost that kills you. If he was trash, I wouldn't care. But he shows you flashes of being top 1 and then goes back to being top 15. It is an abusive relationship, bro. I'm tired of saying he's gonna pop off next arc. There is no next arc. And then Shibuya happened. And if you really want to understand why Megumi sits at the round table of frauds, you have to look at who he met in Shibuya. His daddy, Toji Fushiguro. Let's look at the difference. Toji had 0 cursed energy, 0 technique. The world hated him. He walked into Shibuya with a tight t-shirt, a worm on his shoulder, and a sharpened stick. And he absolutely dog-walked a special grade curse. He took the curse, sharpened his playful cloud, and beat it into a pulp. Pure instinct, pure violence, 0 hesitation. Toji walks into a room and the air pressure changes. That is aura. Megumi walks into a room and we start worrying if he's gonna make it out without trying to quit the lobby. How are you related? Toji with the 10 shadows technique would have conquered Japan in a week. Megumi with the 10 shadows technique is struggling to conquer his own anxiety. When Toji fights, he's trying to secure the bag. When Megumi fights, he's trying to secure a loss. It is painful to watch. It is tragic. Toji looked at his son, realized his son was kinda mid and decided to check out of the server rather than pay child support. That is crazy. But wait, it gets worse. After the domain tease, after meeting his dad, we get the lowest moment in Jujutsu Kaisen history, the Haruta incident. For those who forgot, Haruta is the blonde scrub with the sword handle for a hand. He looks like he got lost on his way to a bad cosplay convention. He is not a threat. He is barely a side character. He gets bullied by Nobara. Megumi is hurt, yeah. He's tired, yeah. But instead of running away, instead of using literally any other Shikigami, what does the CEO of Potential do? He summons Maharaga against Haruta. Fam, that is like using a rocket launcher to defeat a cockroach. That is like calling the Avengers because you saw a spider in your bathtub. Big Raga, the Divine General, the Op Stopper, you summon the strongest entity in the verse to fight a guy with a ponytail? That is a crash out. That is a tantrum. That is Megumi saying, if I can't win, nobody can. Everybody loses today. That is loser energy, folks. I'm sorry. That is not the mindset of a Sorcerer Supreme. That is the mindset of a guy who unplugs the router when he's losing in FIFA. And the worst part? Sukuna had to save him. Sukuna had to come in, clean up the mess, and beat Mahoraga. Megumi didn't even get the kill. He just caused property damage and almost died for no reason. He fumbled the bag so hard, the villains had to pick it up for him. So, what do we do with him? Is Megumi Fushiguro weak? No. He has the strongest technique. He has the battle IQ. He has the tools. But does he have the dog in him? Absolutely not. He is a man who is comfortable in second place. He is a man who looks for a grave instead of a victory. He is the what if scenario that never happened. The hype was fake. The potential was a trap. So, Megumi Fushiguro, take a seat right here. Seat number 1. You are the founding member of the Round Table of Frauds. Drink your water, relax. You don't have to fight anymore. You can't hurt us anymore. But he's not alone. Oh no. Because next time, we gotta talk about a man who makes Megumi look like a genius. We gotta talk about the king of heroes, a man who has every weapon in human history and lost to a teenager with a pipe dream because he was too busy flirting. Gilgamesh, you're on the clock, buddy. Round Table will reconvene. Pull up a chair.